goal will be spotted at the 9-yard line, so a 19-yard field goal by Gramatica. There's the snap, the spot. Romo's going to run it in. He's hit it. He's not down. He doesn't get there. Romo can't get the spot down. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Who's going to call?
I got it.
Matt's going to call.
I got it.
Heads is called. We want the ball. We're going to score. Hasselbeck, short drop, quick throw, left side, intercepted. Right sideline, going down the right sideline to the end zone. It is Al Harris. Touchdown. Dagger. Dreadlocks in his wake. Al Harris, game-winning touchdown. Green Bay Packers. Matthew turning hand to Lynch, left side. Finds a little bit of a hole, keeps his legs moving. He's across the 40, midfield. 45, he's on the run, Lynch. 40, pushes him at 35, look at him go. He's down to 20, 15, he is gonna go. Touchdown Seahawks, oh my word. Marshawn Lynch, the beast is alive and well.
Definitely one of the more memorable wild card wins there, and there have been others. Russell Wilson has 8 playoff wins in his career. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz is making his first playoff start, so advantage Wilson in the experience department. Momentum, though, that goes to Carson Wentz, who has had a really good December, despite the fact that he's had very little around him with which to work, a trend that will likely continue this week. Nelson Aguilar already ruled out. Zach Ertz hasn't been cleared for contact. Miles Sanders says that he is going to play, so that is good. Is it good enough to give them an advantage this week, though, Joe?
Teams win in the playoffs. And what we're seeing right now from the Philadelphia Eagles is a team. They went through that little stretch of adversity where they had that virus, but they got through it. And they got that immunity now, and they're playing like a team, and they're playing with guys that come off the street and off their practice squad, and that's given them confidence that the better team is going to be able to win when it comes to playoff time. 4-0 in December, over 400 yards per game of offense, plus 41-point differential. That's the makings of a great offense for Carson Wentz in the playoffs. It
really is crazy. As they've gotten more injured and lost more and more people, they've gotten better somehow in terms of wins and losses. Resilient.
That's what they are.
That will to win next level. But how about this angle? I know you like the running game, but when it comes to more effective running game in this one, which team is going to bring more to the table, TD? What do you say?
I mean, you talk about injuries and the Eagles, the running backs, they have injuries, and Boston Scott has been playing well. But I go to the other side and look at Seattle's running backs. Marshawn Lynch came back last week, 2.8 yards per carry. Robert Turbin hasn't been on the field, and they got the rookie Travis Homer, who's averaging, I think, 5 yards a carry, which is good. But they lost. I mean, you think about the production they lost from that backfield. It's gone. They were the 3rd leading rushing team in the National Football League.
Carson and Penny and Rosais.
So you don't see a renaissance game from Beast
No,
Mode?
if Miles Sanders plays, I don't see that happening at all. I mean, you might get a play or two, which is like a short yardage play, a goal line play like we saw last week. But
his best chance to go off was last week. He was still fresh because he is not ready to come back a week later because I can only imagine he was in my draft class coming out right now. I can play one game, but trying to go back the next week, you do not have enough recovery in you to be able to come back and play well in the second game.
Yeah, so I would say give me the Eagles in this one.
Okay, so score, is it high scoring, low scoring?
Well, I have the Eagles winning this game 27-24 because of Russell Wilson would keep They would keep Seattle in this game, but it's just not going to be enough. They came up short last week. I see a similar thing happening without the supporting cast of a running game.
Yeah, in sports, sometimes there's that it that you can't define. You look at the roster and you say, Carson Wentz shouldn't be productive on offense because he's got nobody to throw to right now. But they're just playing well as a team. They're buying into Doug Peterson's philosophy. They love the fact that they're home underdogs this week. And I feel like it's that confidence that they had when they went on that Super Bowl run a couple years ago, and it's back right now in Philly.
Are they breaking out the mask?
I think they will. I had dinner with some Philly people last night. As soon as they heard that they were home underdogs, they're like, we're winning this one. It's over. We got this.
It doesn't usually work mathematically, but 3 is greater than 11. It just depends if you're talking about quarterbacks or actual numbers, I guess. I'm going to go Seattle, but I didn't play in the league, though, you guys.
That's the late game on Sunday. The last game of the weekend, the first NFC game is at 1:05 Eastern. It's in New Orleans. Vikings traveling to them this time, but they haven't left yet. And Tom Pelissero with
Friday's walkthrough with the Texans, another opportunity to see if Will Fuller can battle through that groin injury and play on Saturday. My understanding, though, it is a long shot. Will Fuller not being on the field, as I talked to Texans teammates, doesn't just take a good receiver off the field, a potential number one. It takes away one of Deshaun Watson's best attributes. That's the ability to throw downfield and throw downfield accurately. On the other side of the ball, after going through a padded practice on Wednesday, J.J. Watt believes, after he tested that injured pec, that he can play an entire game. I asked Bill O'Brien on Thursday, what kind of say will J.J. Watt have within the game? And he just interrupted me and said, he's playing. Trust me, he's playing. A good sign for their star defensive player.
Thank you, James. 4:35 Eastern Time. J.J. Watt hoping to have plenty of say because Buffalo taking on Houston down there in the Lone Star State. The first ever playoff meeting between these two teams, both of them evenly matched, both 10-6. So, TD, when it comes to matchups that you really want to keep your eyes peeled for, which one are you looking at, man?
Well, I think most people will be looking at Tre'Davious White and DeAndre Hopkins. That's kind of the sexy matchup there. But on the other side of the field, there's got to be a playmaker for the Houston Texans in order for them to win this game. And it's got to be Kenny Stills. Fuller's going to be out, as we heard. So when they're functioning well, this offense has to have that number 2 wide receiver. And Kenny Stills has really been good, 40 receptions this season. But I think in a game like this, he's going to have to elevate his play because we know how the Bills are. They're very stingy against running backs, tight ends, and receivers. And a game like this is going to come down to your number 2 guys, your role players. And to me, he's the one to watch out for. If he has a big game, which hopefully he will, I think the Texans have a really good shot at winning this game.
He's going to need to be the difference maker. Like you said, those number 2 wide receivers always all important, especially in that second season. But, Joe, when it comes to matchups for you, what are you watching for, man?
Yeah, I'm watching this Buffalo Bills defense and how they defend the dual-threat quarterbacks. They did a great job early on in the season against Lamar Jackson, and I think they can do a great job against Deshaun Watson. It's all about discipline and assignment when you're dealing with dual-threat quarterbacks. Here against the run, they're teaching their defensive ends to keep their outside arm free and to be able to funnel the quarterback back into your buddies that are inside. Here they've got Micah Hyde at safety who's shadowing or spying on Lamar Jackson. And once Shaq Lawson's able to slow Lamar Jackson up, that's when the cavalry comes, and Buffalo Bills play great team defense. Here they are in passing situations, and what they want to do is kind of constrict the pocket like a vice. You don't want to let Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson, in the case on Saturday, to get outside the pocket, to break contain, because that's where he's making the big plays. So they're teaching their defensive ends, get upfield to the level of the quarterback, and then squeeze down from the outside. Don't run past the quarterback. Up front, they're going to twist those defensive linemen to take away some of those initial rushing lanes and some of those passing lanes to force a throwaway from Lamar Jackson there. So they've got the right formula to be able to stop that dual-threat quarterback.
Take some discipline, too, on that
one.
Discipline and assignment.
We know he's a disciplined kind of guy, former high school wrestler, so that defense are going to have to pin their ears back because Buffalo 1-4 versus teams in 2019 to make the postseason. So do whatever you want to do with that little piece of knowledge while your friends at the water cooler or whatever. But when it comes to game picks, TD, I'll let you go first. Who are you picking to win this one, man?
I have the Texans winning this game, 20-14.
Wow.
And I talked about it. I think in a game like this, that Deshaun Watson, he's 5-0 against teams, I believe, are 500, and he's a big game, quarterback. So I'm going with the Houston Texans.
How about you, Joey?
Yeah, if Will Fuller played, it would be a different story. I think the Texans would win, but without Will Fuller, they're just a different offense. They average less than 7 points when Will Fuller is not out there. Less than 7 points per game when he's not out there. So the Bills win 17-13.
I just said, Kenny Stills going to step up. You didn't hear me?
Said Buffalo is 1-4 versus
I'm not believing it.
Postseason
I'm not buying it.
3-3 versus teams that are in the postseason this season. We'll see about that. We'll also see about that Texans wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins on a Saturday special wild card weekend edition of Game Day Morning. The playmaker, you know him, you love him. It's Michael Irvin. He went down to Houston to talk with the Texans' top wideout.
So you saying he hadn't earned your respect?
No, he hasn't earned my respect yet. He's a good defender, but, ignorance is bliss. He doesn't know that he plays in a zone defense, I think, to the extent of not like Revis and those guys used to play you back in the day on that island, and where you see a safety all the way on the other hash. I give respect to those guys who can come out there on that island and look me in the face and not play outside because they have safety help.
Wild card weekend continues Saturday night in Foxborough when the Tennessee Titans visit the New England Patriots. And the Patriots have had an offense that has struggled all year long. And one thing Mike Vrabel knows, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, that the Patriots offense goes through Julian Edelman. And when you take Edelman away, it presents issues like it did last week, Week 17 against the Dolphins. The Dolphins doubled Edelman everywhere he went, held him to 3 catches, made Brady go elsewhere with the ball, and everybody else, including Philip Dorsett, has struggled to be a consistent performer. So So the Patriots, they rely on trickery. Right here, Landon Roberts is a linebacker lined up at fullback. He played 3 snaps of fullback. They hadn't thrown to him all year long. But that 38-yard touchdown against the Dolphins tied that score up 17-17. But it has been going on for weeks now. Sorcery, trickeration. Here, the throwback, James White, back to Tom Brady. Gets the Kansas City Chiefs to all bite on the run. And Tom Brady gets the ball out of his hands to his favorite target, Julian Edelman, for the opening score of the game. And if you go back before that to the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe the best pass all day was by Julian Edelman. And he throws it here to Philip Dorsett in the end zone, and the Eagles don't defend it. The go-ahead touchdown against the Eagles. The New England Patriots have archives of tricks, and they're going to bring them out. And Tennessee has got to be prepared for something that they haven't seen all year, because the Patriots are going to try it. They need to jumpstart this offense, and these tricks do it. And those are just a couple plays from this week's playbook.
With more Super Bowl rings than playoff starts, Carson Wentz is more than determined. He is desperate to